Just message them there.
Right, here we are. The tributes shown at Ibrox, the amazing tribute at Ibrox. Also, the other one was at Colton Town during a midweek game there, and had a bugler there. So shout out there for Colton Town, good friends of ours. It's quite a strange, sad week. The loss of the Queen, gentlemen. It's hard to say really what to say about it. It's been a strange one, and it's unfortunately also shown the more nastier side at certain clubs. But anyway, we will talk a little bit about that shortly. But let's get you both introduced. Mr. Callaghan, how are you doing? I know you had a big day at Watford, and we'll touch on that a little bit later on in the show. And a really awful journey home. But how have you been other than that?
Yeah, it's been a busy week. I had birthday last weekend. It was my mum's birthday yesterday, so I didn't get to see much of her. But it's been a weird one, and it's everything's sort of building up towards tomorrow.
Yeah.
And hopefully everything goes well, and then we could get back to some sort of normality a little bit.
Sorry, Matt, I just went on mute then for a moment. What a strange week. And Greg, how you been, mate?
I'm all right, mate. Suffering a little bit.
Yeah, you are. I mean, the funny thing is,
went back to Watford.
You sent me a pissed up video last night of you singing. Do you remember that?
I do, mate. I do. Yeah, it was some decent music in that. But basically, I just can't go home, mate. So
yeah, mate.
I'd had a day at Watford. Yeah.
When you send me videos like that,
now, living up here, but you what? Sorry.
When you send me videos like that, I can save them.
Yeah, so don't even think about that.
We talk about the Queen. I just want everyone to share.
Don't even, mate.
In what happened to me very quickly last night about 11:30 at night.
Cheers for that one, mate. Cheers for that, mate.
Nice of it, mate. I couldn't resist it.
We've all been there, mate. We've all been there.
Yeah, I absolutely couldn't resist that at all. That's great. But anyway, look, yeah. So let's get on to. We can't not talk about the loss of our Queen and some of the tributes that have. What we're seeing is truly amazing, I think, and the outcrying of love towards the Queen has been shown, hasn't it? I mean, again today they've said at Sandringham you can't move. It's the busiest day, the eve before the funeral. What we're seeing with the state, her laying in state, is just truly amazing. Your thoughts, Nigel?
Yes, they're still queuing now, aren't they? David Beckham in the crowd queuing up, quality tribute. Applause to David for that, because he just got in the queue and waited with everyone else to have their turn. But it's been like, it just shows you how many people love the Queen, the amount of people that have actually just have queued for a day and a half just to maybe spend 30 seconds paying a tribute to her. So, and I'm like that thing with Rangers at the start of the show, fair play to him, who the hell are FIFA to tell us what we can play and what we can't play when such a person like the Queen has passed away, which is probably more important than any sport in the whole wide world, so I don't really know what right they've got to do to say you can't play the national anthem. It's a total load of bollocks, mate.
Yeah. I think you're spot on. I think what Rangers done was absolutely immense, and fair play to them for, because I know obviously was it Man City and Chelsea they asked as well, didn't they? And obviously they was refused and they didn't do it. But no, fair play to Rangers.
They didn't grab a pair of balls and do it.
Really, good on them. Good on them. Do you know what I mean? And it's they've to be fair, obviously it's a really sad story and sad time and everything and whatnot. But in terms of football, and that's obviously what we're predominantly to talk about, I think Rangers have come out of this week really well. you know, the respect their fans have shown, the tributes the club have shown. Obviously, not just them. Obviously, even like Watford yesterday was impeccably observed. All the other clubs that have been on TV and that, all 90% of the clubs, absolutely brilliant. So fair play to all the clubs and football as a whole, really.
I mean, can't not mention it. I mean, today at St Mirren was a disgrace.
Yeah.
With septic Celtic, and sorry, I might get some stick for that. But you know what? After what I've seen the last few days and the banners, and again today, the banners coming out with "Clap your hands if you hate the Queen, hate the royal family," and that's what they've been singing through the game. The banners that came out midweek. Look, we all know that, you know, generally Celtic supporters are not a bit anti-British. I think that's fair to say. They're not going to be fans of the monarchy. And yeah, you know what? They are entitled to freedom of speech. They're entitled to their opinion. But
time and place.
We've got to be honest about this. And so are all these people that I constantly see, and no doubt we'll have someone here today, right? That will no doubt want to have a dig about what I'm saying. And, you know, yeah, freedom of speech is their right. But there is freedom of speech and then there is hate speech. Yeah. And what they are doing crosses that line. It's hate at a time when a lot of people are suffering. It is hate. You know, they'll use the word hate in today's banner. It's hate speech. It's not freedom of speech. They're a disgrace to their club, to their country. You know, really are. But
you know, there's got to be players, not just players, like players and staff around that club that are disgusted by that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what gets me with Celtic more than anything is we all know what their fans are like, but the club.
Yeah.
So when she died, they put like a little sort of 3 or 4 line statement on their website. And let's be honest, no one sees football websites much. Everyone uses social media. They had nothing on any of their social media saying, you know, rest in peace or about the Queen or anything. You know what I mean? They couldn't even bring themselves as a football club to pay their respects. Okay, let's be honest. They only done the minutes of applause yesterday because they were told to by the SPL and the SFA. Other than that, they wouldn't have done anything. They don't acknowledge anything on their social media platforms, you know, at all. And it's just, for me, yeah, we all know their fans are poisonous and they've all got their views, but the club are just as bad, in my opinion. You know, they're an absolute disgrace of a football club.
I'm afraid it's what it is with Celtic. Like I say, there is people that are defending it, saying it's freedom of speech. No, there is a line. We all know that line because you can't say boo without a knock on the door from the old Bill these days. There's a line, and that's stepping over the line. It's hate, not freedom. It's hate speech. It's as simple as that. They've used the word hate. Just quickly before we say any more, we're getting plenty of people coming in, making their comments. Our greatest ever monarch there, Barry Flint, Alex Langley. Clubs need to come together and don't invite Celtic to play in England for friendlies. Good evening, Ben Cliff. Alex, spot on. If you haven't something decent to say, don't get involved. You know, that really is as simple as that, isn't it? You know, they can always do it another time, but the timing is not good at all.
Do you not think, like, you're talking about Chelsea and Man City declining playing the anthem, right? Bearing in mind how much money them two clubs have got, do you not think they should have just stuck 2 fingers up?
Of course they should have.
Took a fine on I think they've got so much more respect.
Yeah, 100%, mate. They should hang their heads. I agree.
Yeah.
We're being dictated to. You know, this for this country is you can't even really reach the monumental point in history this is.
No.
This will be spoken about in 1,000 years' time because there will never be another woman on this planet like Queen Elizabeth II.
I think it was just a lazy decision from UEFA, to be honest. I think what UEFA have done, they've probably looked at it sort of black and white and gone, well, it's a disadvantage to the other team. It's the British national anthem. No, sorry. Whereas, really, if you look around the world, all the tributes that have been done around the world, lighting up buildings in the colours, and putting her face on the bloody Sydney Opera House, all these different things that have been done. Like, the UEFA should have just had a little bit of common sense, really, and just actually not stuck to the rule book for a change. And do you really think Napoli would have cared? Do you really think whoever Man City played Dortmund would have cared? They wouldn't have cared. They would have been more than happy to do it and observe.
And Rangers aren't going to have anything done against them. So Man City, Chelsea, really, you let yourselves down a bit there, I'm afraid. God Save Our Queen from Sheffield Wednesday fan, and Andrew. Oh, sorry, fella, I'm not good with names, mate, but I'm going to give it a go. Andrew Sobieski. There you go. I apologise, Andrew. Trust me, you're not the first to suffer at my pronunciation problem. Even James McLean was relatively respectful. I have to say this now. I know he's not a popular man, but he got some stick because he did start, but he stood there with his head bowed. So after what we've seen other people do, the guy should not be getting any stick over that, I don't think. I think he did enough, knowing that his political stance, he should be left alone for what he did, because I think he showed enough respect there to what he is about. We can call him something else another day. Pidgeys on from TMA. Right, so just on this, you'd mentioned David Beckham. I've got to say this. David Beckham, I've never been his biggest fan or nothing, but I've got to give him shitloads of respect for what he done. Queuing it, and he had the option to bypass. Now, I have somewhere, bear with me, a little video of Mr. Beckham. It's very short and sweet. Goes.
Keep moving, guys, keep moving, please.
Sorry, I can't hold the line up.
I can't hold the line up. Sorry, guys. Stand back, please.
Fair play. I have to tip my hat to him and many others. But I'm going to just have a little dig at two people. And that is Mr. Schofield and Holly, whatever her name is. They when you look at people like Theresa May queuing up, Sharon Osbourne queuing up, Mr. Schofield and Holly, whatever her name is, skipped the line and went through. Absolute disgraceful. Sorry, got to say it while we've got the opportunity on air. Have to say it as an absolute disgrace. What gives them the right to step in front of people, a lot of them even on walking sticks? What right have they got? I get it with the world leaders and everything else. They have to do it that way. They got
politicians got to bring four friends with them. Guys, the politicians got to bring four friends with them. These politicians actually got to bring four friends with them. What's that all about? It's bad enough them kicking, but bringing four of your mates with you.
Yeah, I never liked Theresa May, but I'm going to tip my hat, and she gained a bit of respect off me for queuing up.
Credit to those who queued, including Beckham.
Those that have cut the line, mate. I can understand heads of state and people that have maybe security risks around, and they've got to, But anyway, okay, so we'll, as you see, we started the show. We will finish the show with the same video as a mark of respect. At 8 o'clock tonight, this is why we've started the show a little bit earlier. At 8 o'clock tonight, there is a national silence of 1 minute. So, all those that want to participate, that is at 8 o'clock tonight. Hence why we pulled the show a little bit earlier. One thing, again, it is football related around what's happened now with the loss of a queen, and that is the Trevor Sinclair situation, which has really caused such a big outcry. You're both aware. For those of you who may not be aware, Trevor Sinclair put up a tweet saying that during the Queen's reign, racism has been allowed to thrive, so why should black and brown people mourn the Queen? He's been destroyed over it, though. Absolutely destroyed. I mean, there you are. Thoughts on it? The Sinclair situation. Is he going to get back on Talk Sport Radio? Should we have him on here?
I'll tell you what. Honestly, I'm actually really disappointed that TalkSport
Sorry,
haven't
go on,
actually.
Greg first then.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, I'm really disappointed that it's taken. Like TalkSport still haven't announced anything, have they, about him? They just said they're investigating it. Like, what is there to investigate? It's a tweet. It's lack of respect. You know, it's just completely unnecessary. You know, okay, people. Not everyone's going to be royalists, whatever. But come on, like. To be fair, we all know what Sinclair is and who he is. You know, he's got previous.
He's a racist. Say it.
Yeah,
He's a racist,
well,
mate.
He is racist.
He is.
Yeah, he is. And it's just, to be honest, when I first saw it, I was really angry. And now I just kind of shake my head. Now I just think, what an idiot. But TalkSport have got to do the right thing, and they've got to bin him off. They have to. You know, I can't believe it's taken them this long.
Nigel, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah,
Being ex-pro, like.
Listen, he's had plenty of time to express their views about what he's just said, rather than when the Queen's passed away. You know, it just shows what a twat he is. So he'll probably leave TalkSport and get a #1 job on the Muppet Show, because that's what he fucking is at the moment.
I've got to say, I listen to TalkSport on a regular basis because obviously I drive a van and I listen to it. I've listened to him week in, week out. And the man is just constantly pulling a race card out, unnecessarily causing so much more division and divide. And he's very, very, very what's the word? Divisive. He is as a person. Extremely divided. I mean, he loves Celtic, and he come out on the radio. The guy's actually anti-British. He's completely anti-British. He come out on the radio because he loves Celtic, and he said live on the radio, "I support Celtic because I believe in what they are about and what their beliefs are." And their belief, we know what Celtic's beliefs are. They are anti-British. There's no ifs or buts, you know. And that just sums the man up. His track record, drink driving on 2 occasions. One occasion, supposedly, that I don't suppose we should say things like this, but there's all sorts. There's a long list of problems with the guy, including urinating in a police car because he got nicked for drink driving, and then racially abusing white police officers. So what right has he got to talk about racism? Full stop. None. But he does it every week, the only thing I'd say, in, week out.
The only thing I'd say, do you sort of have much hope that TalkSport are going to bin him off if he's done them things already?
No, I don't. I think he'll be back.
And the other, and he's still got a voice on TalkSport.
Yeah, I think he will have a
voice in 6 months.
But if everyone's good to their word, and I will be, then I won't be listening to TalkSport no more.
Yeah, true.
And if we're really clever, because we're going to talk a little bit about something that's coming up soon that we're going to be introducing, maybe they'll come and listen to us instead. It's a good time, everyone, to switch to proper football, especially being we've got an announcement we're going to make in a moment on the show. But yeah, okay, so we're going to move along a little bit now, and constantly, I'm going to put a thing up now. Oh, hang on. Let me get it right. Yeah, I'm going to play out with the same video as tribute. Big day tomorrow, the funeral. And I think I'll finish on this. The dissenters, some Liverpool fans, and I say some because it's not all. There's been a few other fans here and there. And the thing is, what has been shown this week is the majority of this country has spoken, and the majority of this country adore and love the Queen. And for all these people that have shown dissent this week, just think about that, because you have been significantly outnumbered in your thoughts. Significantly.
I think that's massively
a very small minority. And yes, I'm very glad St Mirren won 2-0. Right.
I've got to say one more thing on that, Gary. Is you say about obviously the country and that, but you look at Scotland as well. When obviously like the coffin was travelling from Aberdeen through, Dundee and down into Edinburgh, the crowds of people that were out on bridges and on the side of dual carriageways and all that. And then you look at Celtic, and it just goes to show they are a massive minority. The people of Scotland done themselves proud, to be honest with you, mate.
Please do not, people. Please do not think for 1 minute that Scotland isn't a patriotic country.
Oh, it was incredible, mate. Them scenes up there,
and
absolutely
again,
brilliant.
that, like you say, that has been shown in this week. So yes, dissent all you want, but look at how small a minority you lot are. Anyway, enough of that. Moving on. Okay, one of the talking subjects I'd like to discuss with you chaps is American influence in our game. This will lead me on to also some interesting comments I will make about Wrexham and their owners. But this week, there's it looks very much like the Americans will be taking over at Bournemouth. They've also bought into Norwich City. And in a week where, is it Todd Bowley, the guy who, who bought Chelsea recently, American again, has turned around and made comments of the Premier League could learn a lot from American sports channels, which surprises me because there's nothing in America comes close to the commerciality. Commerciality, is that a word? It probably isn't a word, is it? But never mind. Of the Premier League. Also in that, he suggested a North-South Super game to raise money for the EFL. Okay. So, question I'll put to you first, Nigel. Would you have concerns over the level of American influence that is creeping into our game?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've always said it's a business now, so you're getting business investors looking at buying clubs. I've not really got too much objection about them investing in clubs. It's when they start wanting to change the rules and change the way things happen over here. I've been on holiday in the States loads of times, and you're watching a match and a bloody advert comes on every 10 minutes. And you can sort of see it going that way if they start getting their hands on too much power. But as long as they're invested in it and they're running the club as a football club should be run, and they're not trying to change things, bring new things into it, I've not really got too many objections yet. But it is a concern that there's more and more Americans taking an interest in soccer. They're going to change the name of soccer when they get over here, or what? Liverpool Soccer Club. Can you imagine that? It'd be an outcry.
Oh, mate, soccer, what a horrible word. Greg, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, if the Americans come in and buy Bournemouth, which is rumoured, then I think it's going to be half or over half of the teams will be owned by American owners, which, again, I'm probably with Nigel, to be honest with you. It doesn't bother me too much. You get shocking owners from every country. There's Chinese owners that are terrible. You have British owners that are terrible. You look at Carl Austin at Blackpool. So it's not necessarily where they're from that's the problem. But what Nigel says about them potentially wanting to change rules and bring in a 39th game and have a North-East, this is the nonsense that we don't need. Do you know what I mean? Like, you stick to your American sports. We like the way the Premier League is and the Championship and the British football in general. We don't need, if they want to run a football club, that's fine, but run it. But don't start putting all these suggestions about for just ridiculous ideas that will make the game worse, in my opinion.
Sorry, just having a look in the chat room's quite busy tonight. But what is really good, and carry on, please, carry on. Liam, how are you, mate? How are you indeed? And fair play to you as well on being down at Buckingham Palace when they brought the Queen home to the palace, right at the front there, fella. Fair play to you. People talking amongst themselves. So if you're watching us, get on the chat room or say the chat room. You can make comments and that and pick them up. And there are some people there now having discussion between themselves. Liam, I will try my hardest to read your thing, but I'm a bit wrapped up with this at the moment. Keep them coming. Christopher Billinghurst. Someone needs to buy Bournemouth, need a new Tesco store.
Brilliant. When I was in the States, and my mate I came in and my mate went, bloody hell, he said, I was watching an advert and the sports come on. It was that bad with adverts. He said, I was watching this advert and the sports came on. He said it was off after 10 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, I think it's bad enough now with adverts. Can you imagine if it came down there every 10 minutes? Football.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to add something to this discussion. Alex has just said they're certainly better, surely, than Chinese owners who have tried and are current owners. Yeah, absolutely agree with you, Alex. I do completely. In the jungle, the mighty jungle. Not sure what that is, Patrick. What you mean by that? But hey ho, American sports have too many ads, as you've just brought up. I'm going to add something to the equation, but my thoughts first. My concern about the level of American influence, because it will be American influence as time progresses on and more owners become American. The American influence in our game, which also includes the TV revenue money, which obviously is required to pay the ridiculous wages these players are on. Always got to have a little rant, you know. And yeah, my biggest concern is I don't like how American sports operate. I don't like, the whole commercialism of it, where you've got all these ads and they're suggesting you do this. Next thing you know, it'll become, there'll be a concert at half time. The half time will be half hour, and I'm not saying it will, but that is my concern. Looking at the amount,
it wouldn't shock you, would it? That's the thing.
No. So that would be my only concern. And that concern has been a bit highlighted by, I don't know if you chaps have been watching it, and I don't know if anyone out there has been watching it. Please let me know. Sorry, got to just mention that Paul from TMA who's just put on there. Great American owners in at what? Get American owners in at Watford. Perhaps they would invest some bloody money in the defence. I 100% agree with you on that one, but we'll chat a little bit that later. Right, Wrexham, as you know, they've been bought out by I can't remember their names now. Them two, one's a Hollywood star, one's a very famous TV star in America. And they bought them out. Fantastic for Wrexham. Let me just say before I say this, Wrexham will absolutely benefit from this. They will, as a club, benefit from this involvement of their American owners. But I started watching the documentary that's been done. And I'm watching it and I'm thinking, do you know what? Yeah, this is quite interesting. It's quite good. Gives you good Ryan Reynolds. That's it. Thank you, Patrick. Ryan Reynolds. And I've been watching it and I've been thinking, interesting. It's, filming the local people, talking to local supporters, their lives and whatnot. And, they seem very passionate about it all. Then I started thinking, how long is this? It's become like, I'm about 6 or 7 in, and there's more to come. Right. So I'm thinking, okay, Wayne Reynolds. Yeah, he's the guy who's famous Samaritan TV star. But anyway, sorry, chaps. So I'm watching it and I'm beginning to think, wow, this is going on, and it's really quite a very heavily produced series. And I'm starting to wonder, have they bought them for the right reasons? That's what was in my head, because the length of this was going, and you can see this is going to be an ongoing dramatic documentary series that the Americans are lapping up. So I'm beginning to wonder, did they take them on because they wanted to, or have they taken them on because it's just a great TV project, right? So that's my thoughts. And at this moment, that's where it was. Now, the last episode was called Hamilton, I think it was. And oh, mate, it was just ridiculous. It was ludicrous. That's my view. And if I was a Wrexham fan, I would be thinking, what the hell? It almost, for me, felt like they were taking the piss out of the club in some respects. They turned it into like a mockery, in my view. For those who've seen it, please, what do you feel? I mean, if you've seen that latest one where they turn it into, I can't describe what they turned it into. It was like, and that really watching the last episode of this saga, for me, really made me think that this is a great big project that is a great TV storyline for these chaps, And for me, that's a shame. However, Wrexham will 100% benefit from it, so they can't lose. But is this our football? Is this we become? I don't know. I don't know if anyone's watched it. I'm going to watch it, and I'd love to know your feelings next week. I take it you two haven't watched it.
Not watched it, no. But I think if any, I think when they took over, we knew that they was going to do a TV program, didn't we, on them?
I think but it's just obvious, I didn't realise it was going to be such a long thing, and I think this is going to be ongoing. It's going to become the next fucking Dallas. You know what I mean? It's like it's all well and good, and I think so I have to repeat it. I keep repeating it. Wrexham will benefit from it, 100%. But whoever watched it, if anyone on here has watched it, I just thought it was ludicrous, and in some ways, it even felt like they were taking the mick out of Wrexham.
It'd be interesting to know.
It's like they turned it into a Hollywood American sitcom. You know what I mean?
It'd be interesting to know how the whole Wrexham thing is perceived over in America. Do you know what I mean? If American fans are on board, obviously you get some Americans who just don't understand football and are not into it at all. They've got their own sports, which is fine.
Well, obviously the terminology soccer is always used.
Yeah, you just wonder how it's all perceived. Is the documentary in America as well? Have people bought into the Wrexham idea? It'd be interesting to know.
Let me tell you, that documentary is geared up for the American viewers.
Yeah.
It's not geared up for us. It's 100%. When you watch through to the last one, the last one tells you the story. Well, say the latest installment that tells you the story.
I think the way you can look at it. I mean, I've not even watched any of the episodes, but if there's people watching that program that aren't even football fans or Wrexham fans, it's obviously becoming a bit of a soap because they're watching it because they're enjoying it as a series. Now, it'd be interesting to know how many Wrexham fans are actually watching it and how many fans outside of Wrexham are not interested in football are watching it. And that'll then tell you whether it is becoming a soap or whether it's a proper docu, on the football club.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the worry I would have if I was a Wrexham fan is, like I say, when that last episode was the one that's really changed my opinion. Up until then, I sort of thought about it, but I thought, do you know what? This is really good for the club, and it will be. But is it good for football? I don't know. Ben, the Wrexham shouldn't be in the English leagues anyway. I feel bad for the Welsh teams in the Welsh leagues. Absolutely. High won't have the chance to get owners like these guys. High won't have the chance. Okay, right. I'll sort of say, what he's meaning. Like the teams in the Welsh league that genuinely are in the Welsh league. Won't have the chance to get owners like him. My fear, if I was a Wrexham fan, would be once the series dries up and is no longer, are they still going to be committed to the club?
Well, that you know what as well, like even they've got to have success on the pitch as well. Like obviously last year they failed to get promoted. For me, the National League, it gets harder and harder every single season. There's some massive teams down there. It's obviously you have champions that go up and then you have one through the playoffs, and if they don't go up again this season, is it going to get a bit sort of stale for them American owners? I don't know. Like I personally think they would have expected promotion, if I'm being honest.
No doubt. Like I say, guys, obviously I wish no one's come on to say they've watched it yet. Very tough league. It is a very tough league. I've just got to say something. Christopher has come on saying about there was some disrespect at the Welsh home game. He hopes they fall apart for the minute silence. I have to say something in Wrexham's defence here. We did mention it as well about Wrexham, but they was at Southend yesterday. 616 they took to Southend. Great support. And mate, they were impeccable. They were absolutely. So I don't want to. When I listened to Celtic today, it sounded like it was all of them. It was proper loud. It was like, Liverpool again, it's not all of them. And certainly you have to take your hat off to the Wrexham supporters that went to Southend. Absolutely, sure.
Yeah, fair play to them.
So I just wanted to say that really. Well, they should be in League Two, Wrexham, with a new COP stand approved. Absolutely, they have, yeah. And yeah, they are going to benefit from this whole thing. Like I say, for me, that last episode, it felt like it was turning into some sort of game show for the American viewer, and I just hope when it dries up that them owners are still as enthusiastic as they are portraying at the moment. Right, okay. I think it's time, if Nigel is ready, for some of this. I think. Let me get myself sorted out, and it's time for. Yes, it's time for the good old days with our man Nigel Callaghan. Have you got any questions for him? Bang them in now. But I think you've got a couple of nice little stories lined up for us today, Nigel. Let me take this down, and I'm going to hand over to you, my good friend.
Yeah, in the week that everybody's paying respects to the Queen, I thought I'd do a couple of little stories about two of the managers I played under, Arthur Cox and Graham Taylor. Both had different views on, like, you earn your respect and respect what other things are happening. So the first one was quite a bit of a funny one, really. When I was at Derby, me and Peter Shilton was about 20 yards from the entrance to the training ground, and there was a little crash. So it held us up about 30 minutes. And we both come onto the training pitch about 30 minutes late and said, sorry, Gaffer was in that traffic. Yeah, no problem. It's me and Peter Shilton. So the next day we're coming in training, and Roy McFarlane's dishing out all the fan mail. And he gave me a few letters, and I got a brown envelope. So that normally means you're getting a fine. So I'll open it, and it says, for being late yesterday, £25 fine. So it wasn't the fact that I got fined 25 quid, because it wasn't a lot of money in them days. But I'm watching Shilton, and Roy McFarlane's gone round to him. He's gone, all right, Pete, here's your fan mail. And I'm sort of looking over, and I can't see a brown envelope. I said, what is Schultz? Did you get a brown envelope? And he went, no. So I'm like, I went outside to kind of pitch, and Arthur's out there waiting for us. And I went, Gaffer, can I have a word with you? And he went, yeah, what is it? I said, well, yesterday I was right behind Peter Shilton as we came in from that crash. And I come out on the pitch the same time as Peter Shilton. He went, yeah. I said, well, is it one set of rules for me and one set of rules for Peter Shilton? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, I got fined 25 quid, and he didn't even get fined. He went, listen, when you've played as many games for England as he has, so I didn't have a comeback on that one, so I just took the fine and went off. But on the other side of respect, I mean, Graham GT at Watford, he run a smooth ship. Everybody knew where they stood, what they could do and what they couldn't do. We had this canteen at Stanmore that we always go and have a cup of tea before we went out 10:30 for training. And this one time we came out for training, it's about 32 minutes past 10. And Taylor stood outside as we're coming outside from the dressing rooms. And he pointed to about 7 of us. He went, you're fined. And one of the lads went, Gaffer, it's only 32 minutes past 10. I'm only 2 minutes late. He went, he says, do you know most people have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to start a 9 o'clock job? He says, you don't start till 10:30. He says, why don't you be 2 minutes early, not 2 minutes late? So he said, perhaps you'll learn from it. I tell you what, I was never late again. Two different sides of two managers that I really enjoyed playing for. The untold stories.
No, absolutely, and that's what the good old days is all about. When hopefully we get a few more ex-players on, they'll chip in with a good few stories as well. And it's what people want to hear. They don't hear these stories, do they? And I think in today's world, there's stories like that probably don't exist anymore, do they? Can you see that happening in modern day Premier League sides? You're fined if you're 2 minutes late. I don't know. Is there any managers hard enough out there to do that anymore?
We was walking a training one morning, all right. Craig Ramage was a junior pro. He's about 18 years old. And one of the lads has cracked a joke about one of the other lads, and we're all laughing. And Craig started laughing. And Arthur Cox turned around and pointed to me, and he went, you're not good enough to laugh at him yet. Zip it. And I couldn't believe it. Yeah, that was what Arthur was though. Like, Arthur was all about you earn your respect. You know, players that have done it, you don't laugh at them, you earn respect.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. Apprentices back then used to clean the boots of the top players. Used to be their boot boys, didn't they? You don't see that anymore because nowadays these young players are probably earning more money than we can ever dream of, and bowling around in like Lamborghinis and whatever else, you know, at a young age. And yeah, it's a very different world, isn't it? Hello, Ben Higgins. How are you? Hello, Sonia. How are you? Nice to have you on board. Yeah, it's a crazy world. But I wasn't going to do the funnies, but do you know what? I'm tempted to. I've got only a couple, but before we do, are they funnies though? I wouldn't say they are, but I'll tell you what. Here's the debate, right? And everyone who's watching at the moment, we'd like you to get involved. What do you think of this New England kit? I love the away one, the red one. What do you think to that, chaps? It's bloody awful.
Poor, yeah, poor.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Looks like it's been sponsored by Primark.
The thing I don't understand is the two kids. I know they're like
1 minute, chaps, so people can get a good feel of that.
Yeah.
And I'd love to know what you people out there are thinking. Just give me some feedback, people. For me, my God, what were they thinking? That red one, that ain't no different from the one back in 1990. Almost exactly the same, other than the make.
Mm.
It is pretty much, you know. I like it though. I think with the international strips, I think I'm going to take it down now. Bear with me. I think with the international strips, I think. Oh God, hang on. All fingers and thumbs today. I think with the international strips, I think plain, you know, is probably the right thing. What can you do? How many times can you change an England kit when it's a plain white colour, you know, or a red? That red is no different to the 1990 kit, really. Ben Cliff, he says he personally likes both. Okay. The away one, Alexander won't. Gary, you're spot on again. The home one is vile. It is, isn't it? Sorry, yeah. Ben. I can't. Nigel, come on, give me your view on it now. I've got the quote down.
Oh, no, listen, I don't buy shirts anyway. They're too expensive. I'd have to pay in instalments. Yeah, they're just changing them all the time just for marketing, aren't they? It's changed the shirt. More people are buying a new shirt. They want the new ones. Then we'll change it again. So they want the new shirts again. It's just a marketing practice, isn't it? It's like let's just change the design and earn some more money. I've got to admit with you, I don't like that white shirt.
Oh, no. It's, yeah, Ben, well, fair enough, mate. It's up to you. Personally, I think it's cringy, but there we are. Greg?
Same as you two. I think the away one's not bad, but the home one's terrible. I don't understand the design of it. It's got no similarities to the away one at all. I just think it's a bit bizarre. And if that's the best that Nike can come up with, then Christ, you know what I mean?
Stephen's agreeing with Nigel, I guess, on the pricing and tops.
Oh yeah, well, you know it's going to be.
He does say he likes the white one. So there are people there. Maybe we're, you know, I mean, maybe we're getting old fashioned. I don't know. Maybe Greg, you shouldn't be old fashioned because you're quite a bit younger than me and Cally. So you know, it's but fair play. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. Carry on with your comments, people, about these tops. Do you like the white one? Yes or no? We all know you like the red one because it's red and not a lot else to it, and that's how we like it.
Just a quick one, Gaz. I mean, I come today. The lad from Arsenal, 15 years old, made his debut.
No.
I mean, like hats off. It's only 3 minutes as a sub, but what an occasion at 15 years old to come on the turf and play for the first team. Fair play to him. And fair play to the manager for blooding a youngster, you know, like giving him a chance. And that's what we've been talking about the last few weeks. We need to be getting the youngsters into these teams and giving them a chance, homegrown youth and all that stuff. Like, So
Yeah.
well done to that lad.
Yeah, fair play to him.
Yeah, absolutely. No, completely agree. I'm just seeing what I've got here. I've already done the Greg one. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do the funnies so much this week. I think we'll keep the show a little bit more respectful than that. But what I am going to do now, I'm going to go through some of the stuff we've been having through this week and see how we get on with that. And I'm going to start with this one. Hide it. Oh, there you go. I didn't know it was going to stay on like that. Mate, I had to bring that up and play the entirety of that. That's Sutton Coldfield fans, right? I think they're away as well. Mate, that's what supporting your club's all about, isn't it? Isn't that fantastic?
Absolutely brilliant.
Oh, Sutton Coldfield. I'd tip my hat if I had it on. Hang on. Have I got one? Hey, I've got one here. I tip my hat to you, Sutton Coldfield fans. That was fantastic. Mate, that boy could play the trumpet and all, couldn't he?
That's superb. The guy with the crutch as well.
Play the trumpet, mate. What do you reckon of that, Nigel? That's great support, isn't it?
Yeah,
mate?
it's a bit of a laugh, wasn't it? But I've got to admit, I sat in the Elton John seats yesterday, and this guy in the drums below me, I could have shoved it up his arse, mate. But I'll tell you what, if I was sat next to him, he would definitely have had that up his arse. I mean, you don't need someone who bang the drums to get the crowd to go Watford. You know?
Let's just touch on that because yesterday you went to Watford as a guest of honour, along with some other players. I think it was 30 years since we'd beaten Sunderland 8-0, and then obviously we were playing Sunderland yesterday. And obviously, as well as that, maybe you just give us some idea of the incredible journey home that turned into a bit of a disaster. So what was the day all about then, mate? Was it?
Well, it was meant to be celebrating the fact that we beat Sunderland 8-0 40 years ago. And I think
I was at the game.
Yeah, from what I could understand from Luther, we was meant to be going out to the pitch at half time. But for some reason, that got cancelled. So, it turned out that we've gone down there for the day and it was down there to watch a football match. Luther and Rita put a wreath down before the game. Rita Taylor was there. But yeah, it was I got on this train from Stafford to Milton Keynes, and the train was 8 carriages long. And the announcer came over, the ticket inspector, and he came on the microphone. He says, "We're really sorry, but all 8 toilets on this train are not working. They're out of order." And I tell you what, he was slagging his own company off, saying it's an absolute disgrace that they haven't fit. And we stopped at rugby for 10 minutes so people could get off and go to the toilet. And I had 15 minutes to get my connection. I then had 4 minutes by the time we got to Milton Keynes, so I nearly missed the train because of that. And then the game was good, but again, I'm not going to slag Watford off, but they're just not good enough. They're mid-table at the moment, and they're not going to get promoted, but they're not going to go down. But last 10 minutes of that game, there was only one team that wanted to win it. It was Sunderland.
Yeah, it was mediocre, wasn't it, mate? Really, the whole performance. It was bang average at best. Yeah,
it's a shame, really. I mean, people are saying that you've got to give this new guy time to build his team and stuff like that. But the harsh reality is he's not going to get the time because the Pozos will get impatient. As soon as he loses a few more games and they go below mid-table, they'll get rid of him. They're not going to give managers time to build a club. And that's the thing. You know, I was saying to Gary earlier, you go into that club. We went in there, it was like going through passport control at Heathrow Airport. They've got these scanners and these automatic gates. And so that just tells you you're walking into a business. You're not walking into a football club anymore. And I don't think they're going to give him a chance. I don't think they'll put up with, we're bottom half of the league at Christmas, but he's doing well. We still want him to stay and build a club. I don't think they'll have the patience to do that. So I do hope for his sake that they start picking up points now. And you know, again, they've been in front twice yesterday and they've let Sunderland back into the game. And that's a disappointing. And it was Schoolboy defending as well. Schoolboy.
Yeah,
I think that's every week, though, mate. That's every week.
Yeah, I think my take on it is the team on paper. It's a good team, but I've watched games this season and I've genuinely at points of games not known what formation we're playing. And I think Rob Edwards, don't get me wrong, seems like a really decent fella. You know, wanting to do well. I just feel like he's a little bit out of his depth. He lacks. When we got him in, I was open to the idea, but I said from day one he has to have some experience alongside him. And he's bought his assistant from Forest Green, and I don't see the experience, and that's the big thing for me.
I would love to take this apart. Maybe Pidge will have us on his show, and we can really then just talk about it in great detail. But we're not a Watford podcast, so I don't want to turn it into one.
No.
It's
rare, isn't it?
That on the show one day, and you'll get an extreme. I know Nigel's been on it, but anyway, my God, you'll get an extremely honest view of what the problem.
That's my journey, guys.
So right. So
it's Ray Cook's birthday, so we go through. There's me and Steve Terry, and by the way, Steve Terry said that he'll come on one week.
Oh, lovely, yeah. Because where did Steve play? Because he played at Northampton and all, didn't he?
Yeah, he was at Watford.
Did he finish his career at Northampton?
I'm not sure. You probably know more about that than me, where he finished.
Yeah, I think it was.
He had to come on. He lives in Berkhamsted now. So we had a few drinks with Ray, and by the time we got down to the train station, I'd missed my connection. But I got on the train that was meant to get me into New Street just in time to get the Stafford connection. But this train got hold-ups, and so we've ended up turning up 5 minutes late. So the only alternative was to hop on our train to Wolverhampton and pay 45 quid to get back to Stafford in a taxi. So, it's a bit of a nightmare journey home. But I enjoyed the day out. We had Les Taylor down there. Remember him, Les? Steve Sherwood was there. Ian Bolton. Tommy Mooney made an appearance. He came in. So, it was a good little day out. Enjoyed it.
Now, Steve played for Watford, Hull City and Northampton Town, Finished at Northampton, but he played for Hull City as well. So that'd be an interesting one. If he'll come on, that'd be brilliant. And I'm sure between the two of you, will give us some unbelievable behind-the-scenes stories. So that'd be great. We are getting close to 7 o'clock, so I've got a couple more bits I'd like to have a quick look at. I wouldn't say this is funny, but this is somebody deciding that Jack Grealish wasn't going to get past him, courtesy of Paddy Power. But look at that. That's Karate Kid 2, isn't it?
You remember that Schumacher?
It's funny and it ain't funny, but my God, look at that night. What's the worst challenge that you ever see or ever was involved in, mate, in your playing career?
That one just reminds me of the Schumacher incident. Remember that in the World Cup? Where they say the goalkeeper Schumacher him. He come out and poleaxed the centre forward. I don't think I had a really bad tackle on me. Sort of like that could have put me out of the game.
Yeah.
But certainly, like when you're playing against Stuart Pearce and Julian Dix and Vandenhauwe, you're going to get stupid tackles all the time. But back in them days, you got tackled, you got on with it, you didn't roll about on the floor, you just got up, and you knew after the fifth tackle that the referee had booked him. They give him 4 goes at you, and then he'd book him on the fifth one.
Yeah. I must admit, I know they brought a rule in for refs to maybe allow the tackles to be a little bit more aggressive than what they have been. I certainly have the games I've been watching, different various games. They the game has toughened up a bit this year. Would you say?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Sunderland yesterday, wow, they were proper going in. What do you reckon, Greg? Do you think you're seeing it? I mean, obviously, going back like as old as me and Nigel are, then we remember it quite well. But modern day football has sort of not been anywhere near as hard or as tough as it used to be. But certainly this year has toughened up a bit. Hence Graham Souness's problem with it's a man's game.
Yeah, I think so to some extent. Obviously, the difference now is obviously we've got so many players from abroad and, South Americans. And we all know the culture and the football's different and stuff like that. And we've seen it for ourselves, even at Watford, the way Richarlison used to roll around and João Pedro now. And there's an element of that's come into the game. But yeah, maybe it has toughened up a little bit this season. I don't know. I think, hard to say really. On the fence with that one.
Okay, quickly moving along. Each week we do our little view of some of the food that you can buy, and I'm going to take great pleasure in this one. This one is from this is a cheeseburger at I think it was about £4.90. And guess where? This is our friends Luton Town. Well done, Luton. Get in there. There you go. I must admit the actual burger's bigger than the ones we have been seeing. I must admit it just doesn't look very appetizing. But that's the food you may get at Luton Town. Then really last one from us will be this. So as you may all be aware, Chris Kamara, I really like Chris Kamara. I think he's a proper character of the game. Fantastic pundit, so funny. But obviously, I don't know if I can pronounce it very well, but someone else pronounce it for me. He has this problem with his speech, doesn't he? Apraxia.
Not sure.
I can't pronounce it very well. Anyway, he came out and said on TV that he feels like he's a fraud. And Middlesbrough fans came out with this banner yesterday in response to that. And fair play to them.
Yeah.
Because, he's brilliant. He's probably given us some of the best laughs of all the pundits. But they've come out, and as you can see on the banner, you're not a fraud. You're unbelievable, Cammy. Fair play, Borough. Really, again, hang on. I'll get it off the screen. I'll tip my hat and get the view. Tip my hat to you, Borough. Well done. Great banner. Cammy. Now, the only problem with him is I think him and Ben Shepherd have been doing a proper football show on BBC, which is just not good enough. But there we are. But I think he's a great pundit. He's brilliant. He's funny. He falls asleep.
You don't have to be perfect at your job. And perfect. It's his character that people fall in love with. And they actually like it when people make a few mistakes because it shows us human. And Cammy's gold, mate. I've met him a couple of times, but not a lot. But he's gold on TV. People like him, so I don't think he should be worried about that. But it just shows whatever ground he's in. People.
Yeah, he's obviously going through some at the minute, isn't he, Nigel? And fair play to Borough fans for saying no, mate. And I think everyone would agree. He's great. He is great. Right. Okay. Your views on that? What do you think to me? You agree? I'm just trying to catch up on some of the. Before we finish.
Yeah, I think he's all right. He's had some very funny moments, obviously on Sky, like the Portsmouth one was probably the best. The red card. But yeah, I think he's all right. To be honest, I wouldn't say like absolutely loving the bits. Do you know what I mean? But he's all right. Yeah, he's a good guy, and I hope he gets through the problems that he's going through. And credit to Borough as well.
Okay, I do apologise, people, because I did miss some of the chat room there. Just going back to the bad challenge there, the worst he's seen has to be Souness versus Munich or Bozzy on Klinsmann in the League Cup at Villa Park. If you cough at Anthony Gordon, he will fall over. Well played, absolutely well played. One of the best managers in Stokes history, Cammy was. Yeah. But you know what? I didn't really recall him much as a manager, but as a pundit, mate, you can't get away from. He's got such a funny character, and probably some of the funniest moments in punditry are around him, without a doubt.
I'll tell you what,
Yeah,
getting back to the
okay.
tackles, Steve McMahon and Vinnie Jones had some good battles when them two played. They were at it from the first minute, as soon as the whistle went. So I think if you trekked out the games with Vinnie and Wimbledon and Liverpool, there'll be some good battles there. But Souness, yeah, he's an absolute head case. Souness, he's had a few good ones. I don't think we had any bad tacklers at Watford when we played. We was just like strong, you know. Kenny Jackett was solid in midfield. Les Taylor was. So, but yeah, definitely Vinny would have been involved in a few of them.
Yeah. But, well, we're pretty much at the end of the show. I just wanted to say, so I said about some exciting happening. So basically, we have been working behind the scenes on developing a new element of radio. For those who don't know, a number of us involved with Proper Football kick-started the Away Day Radio channel, which we won't go into any detail, which is still going elsewhere. But yeah, we had a concept of combining football and music, and fashion, which all goes hand in hand. And we're going to be doing that again. We're just going to stick with our name. It'll be Proper Football Radio. We'll give you a lot more detail, but we're currently recruiting DJs to give us all sorts of genres: Northern Soul, Trojan Ska, house, you know, all the stuff that football people love. There'll be lots more football chat shows as well, which will be going out on radio and will still go live only onto YouTube, though. So there will be midweek chat shows. There'll be match day chat shows. It's going to give us a whole new element of product that we can offer. So watch this space. It will be good. I'm guessing, I think we haven't announced nothing yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be towards the back end of October that we'll actually launch it. We're doing a lot of testing at the minute and recruiting a DJ. Anyone out there, budding DJ or a budding presenter, fancies doing a football show or a music show, whatever, you know, if you fancy it, give us a shout. Let me just pop up the get involved at properfootball.co.uk. Drop us a line or message me or whatever, any one of us, or pop us a message if you fancy getting involved in that. If you feel you've got what it takes to do a bit of a radio show and you've got some equipment or you're happy to buy some, it's not overly difficult and it's not overly expensive, and you can sit at your home doing it. But yeah, anyone interested, give us a shout. But that's going to be called Proper Football Radio. Watch this space for more detail. Okay, Nigel, are you on Mixcloud tonight?
Yeah, I'll be going on at 8:30, guys. The Sunday session.
8:30 tonight. Catch Nigel on Mixcloud. And hopefully, Nigel, we've got to talk to you yet, but hopefully we'll kick the radio off. They'll be able to listen, hopefully, to some of your shows on the radio as well.
Yeah, definitely.
If they can't get on Mixcloud, that would be lovely, but we'll talk more about that as we go along. So, yeah, exciting times ahead. But maybe right now it's all about Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. At 8:00 tonight, folks, there is a national silence at 8:00 for 1 minute. Please participate in that. And then it's the big one tomorrow. They're saying it's going to be the most watched broadcast the world has ever seen. So again, I say to all you little morons that keep knocking at what's happening this week, you are a small minority. It must feel really sad to be like that. Right. Anyway, I don't think there's anything else to say. Big day tomorrow. If you're going to get down there, good luck. It's going to be a bit of a journey, or if you're going to Windsor as well, good luck. And I guess it's just a case of God bless you and God save the King. Nigel, last words from you.
Yeah, just pretty much what you said, guys. It's a big day tomorrow. We'll all be paying our respects to the Queen. She was a great lady. She set the examples. There was never a bad word said about her, and it's going to be a sad day, but hopefully, like you say, everybody's going to be paying their respects all around the world.
Yes, they're already calling her Elizabeth the Great, aren't they?
Yeah,
But
great
Greg,
time.
last words from you, my friend.
Yeah, I'll just echo what you two say, to be fair. Obviously, regarding the Queen, obviously it's going to be a very sad, emotional day tomorrow. And it's kind of like the end of what's been a sad week, really. We've seen all the tributes and respects across the world and in this country and the crowds and, the outpouring of love, really. But yeah, tomorrow's going to be very sad, but we can all pay our respects, which is nice. So yeah, and then, like you say, and then exciting times ahead, both in life and with football as well, so in the radio and stuff. So all good.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, folks, we'll join us again next week. And like I say, we'll keep you in the loop on the new radio element of proper football as it goes ahead. I'm going to play out with the video I played in with. And God bless you, Queen Elizabeth. And I'll see you all next week.
Cheers.